Giannis Antetokounmpo reportedly said this about the finals on a trip to Brazil. I quote, "I hope to be back soon with the Bucks." With the Bucks. In case you missed it, Windy had this to say yesterday here about the future of Giannis.
Right now, there is no Giannis Antetokounmpo trade market. There is no Giannis Antetokounmpo trade discussions. He has not asked for it. The Bucks are not looking to trade him.
So that was Windy yesterday. This is Monica. That's Alan and Jay Will. Should I be now acting under the assumption that Giannis is going to be on the Bucks next year?
What were his words? Again, just so I can clarify.
Reportedly, and now this is a man whose primary language is Greek, and he's speaking to people whose primary language is Portuguese, and it's all being translated into English. So there's a great deal of uncertainty about whether, in this age of Google Translate. Wow. But what he apparently said is the finals are different. I hope to be back soon with the Bucks.
All right, so the operative word is hope. Hope to me is not a commitment. Hope to me is a prayer. I hope I could be the president of the United States. Doesn't mean that I'm going down to D.C. and I'm renting out office space right now, okay? Like, to me, that feels like it's a positioning because Giannis's brand is uniquely different than the like of a KD or LeBron James. Like, he's not going to say, hey, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. Right. Or he's not going to be like KD, the undermining of people on social media or the hard things he said about people before. He's always going to be the loyalist to a fault until he isn't. So what Wendy said, I think is correct. The market has to bear the right opportunity. But to me, that is not a commitment. That's just somebody saying, hey, look, I want to be here until I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay, so let's see what happens. We've been acting under the assumption this would have to be done by the draft, which is just a few weeks away, but doesn't have to be. These things can be done anytime that they get done. Let's live in a world where Giannis isn't looking to get out of Milwaukee immediately. We have speculated so much about the Knicks and their future, and Monica and Alan, you know them so well. Does this mean Kevin Durant goes directly into the front burner? Kevin Durant to the Knicks, is that the right thing should it happen?
I don't know if that really follows the plan in New York when it comes to continuity of their roster. They've already changed the coach, and we'll see what happens with whoever they hire. But to now all of a sudden make a trade for a megastar who makes $54 million at 37 years old, who's going to want a contract extension, it's going to cost you players. It's going to mess up more of that continuity you're looking for. You have a team that got to the conference finals, and you'd have to literally blow up more of that roster to make a big move. But I'll say this, Monica, if you're looking at the East, you take a swing now to try to win a championship, and that's the kind of swing you'd have to take.
Well, on both of these guys, whether you talk about Giannis or KD, what position are you going to be in after you acquire them? That's the thing that stands out to me. Like, we ask, is the Bucks the best place for Giannis? Well, there's continuity there. He knows that roster. He's familiar there. He's invested in the community. If he were to go to the Knicks, what would that look like? Would it look like he and Dame in terms of the stars that they had in Milwaukee, just make it New York? And so I think New York is in a good position. My personal philosophy, Greeny, on basketball is year one is very tough for it to work, which is why Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson this year were so successful. I'm with Han. The coaching change is going to be big enough. Obviously, you made this move because you believe that the next guy can get more out of that roster. Does more equal back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
If you're Leon Rose, like, you're not going to make any pivot right now. You're still going to see what the market and the fruits can bear, right? So it's not like, hey,
what does that mean?
Well, because Giannis isn't off the table. Why is Giannis all of a sudden off the table? Because a report comes out and he says, I hope I can win a championship with the Bucks. Like, who knows who you can get as a coach? Who knows what you're giving up? I think there's a lot of things still on the plate for the New York Knicks right now.
I guess what I'm saying is their best chance, the Knicks are as all in as a franchise can possibly be, right? You go to the conference final and you fire the coach. You're saying we think we're on the doorstep. Are they better off keeping the roster together as it is?
I'm team keep.
Say keep.
I'm team keep the roster because your coaching change is going to be a big enough change, right? Like, why did you change the coach if you
But are they good enough to win the championship as they are generally constituted as a roster?
That's why whatever you're going to do has to be about what the weaknesses were, which is the depth of this team. And if you're going to make a move, to me, that's where you focus a lot of whatever you've got left to spend.
In the margins, you're saying.
I was saying, let's clarify. Keep your core roster. Support staff, bench guys, yes.
If Giannis is available and I've said this, and he says New York's the place I want to go, I'm sorry. That's
quick final, very quick.
I'll just ask you, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, incredible players. Will their bodies hold up for another incredible run? is a legitimate
And
coach.
is that the duo to take them over the top? I have to save it there. I'm coming back with much more of that. We've got football still on the menu. Shedeur Sanders opening eyes at Browns minicamp. How soon could we see him starting a game for Cleveland? We'll answer that question. And then more on the Knicks. They bowed out of the playoffs in the conference final. They parted ways with their coach. We'll tell you why their plans for his replacement seem to be falling apart. It's on the way.
DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase get paid this offseason. Terry McLaurin still has not been paid. He's produced like a top receiver, and now he wants to be paid like a top receiver. Meanwhile, we continue to monitor the quarterback battle in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders has been taking some reps, doing the work. The fact of the matter is, it is so rare for a fifth-round quarterback to come in and start right away. Shedeur Sanders has looked good. He has carried himself the right way, but there's still a long way to go before we could begin to have Shedeur Sanders in the conversation about when he's going to be starting the season for the Cleveland Browns. Right now, it looks like Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, they'll be vying for that job, and Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel will continue to learn, bide their time, and wait for their opportunity.
Shedeur did actually join the conversation, though, literally yesterday, speaking to the media. This is what he said about how he's approaching minicamp.
It's just a mindset, it's just an adjustment. You got to go and understand the situation that you're in and be able to approach that and get the best out of it. You could view things as you're not getting reps in a negative way, or you could view it as, okay, when it's my time to get out there. So there's no excuses, because when you get out there, nobody cares how many reps you got. Whenever you get in the game, nobody cares if you took a snap before. You know, like everybody cares about production. So that's the main thing. When you get out there, you got to be able to produce.
So we all know that Tom Brady has been a mentor to him, and that we've all heard that clip of Brady saying, I don't care if you get one rep, then you make sure that you make it work, and that's the attitude that he is taking. The path to the starting job, Mike T., for Shedeur Sanders is an interesting one. Shefty pointed it out. The chances of him winning the job week one are extremely remote. But I feel like there's almost no question at some point this season he will get the chance to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And that should happen sooner than later, Green, for a number of reasons. First of all, he could be their quarterback of the future. I don't think there's any question he has much more ability than Dillon Gabriel, despite the fact that he was drafted 2 rounds later. And they made a great trade. I think Jacksonville likely could have a top 5, top 10 pick. That's going to be Cleveland's. Next year's draft is loaded with quarterbacks. So one of the things that Cleveland needs to accomplish this year is where are they with the quarterback position? And this isn't the sexiest thing, but Shedeur Sanders can earn the trust and respect of his teammates, of Tommy Reese, the offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, every day, knowing his assignments, comporting himself as a pro. By all accounts, that's happening. And when you do that, that's how you start gaining momentum. And we could be sitting here in early October, Greeny, talking about Shedeur Sanders, the starting quarterback of the Browns.
What is the path, Lewis? Give me the path for Shedeur Sanders starting today to being QB1.
Look, it's about maximizing every single opportunity, and that's what he is talking about. And I think Tom Brady is a great template to follow in terms of how he talked about the early beginnings of his career. Every rep does matter. I've been in those situations. Where you don't get many reps in practice, and then you get thrust into a preseason game or a regular season game, and you're expected to perform, which means you got to be on it. You got to be on the details. And for Kevin Stefanski, it's got to be also about rewarding a guy like Shedeur Sanders with more reps, provided that he takes advantage of the limited ones that he gets, meaning he's crisp and clean in and out of the huddle. He's moving the football when they're in move-the-football type situations, whether it's in practice or in preseason games. He's getting the ball in the end zone. He's not turning the football over. That's what makes coaches give you more reps with starting with the 3s, then maybe with the 2s. Then you get some reps with the 1s. And I'll tell you what, look, we say the NFL's a meritocracy. In theory, it is. But sometimes you don't always get the opportunity to really take advantage of that meritocracy. Shedeur will get the opportunity as he continues to progress and earn the trust of the coaching staff. And if he does that, look, Mike T's right. He's the most talented thrower on that roster. But that doesn't matter if you don't get the opportunity. And the only way you get the opportunity is you have to earn it. You have to earn more opportunities. And I think he has the right mindset right now in terms of how he's approaching that.
Well, just to tell you what he's trying to overcome, there's been one quarterback in the last 40 years, drafted in the 4th round or later, who started his team's opener. And that was Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak lit it up, Tony Romo got hurt, and Dak Prescott had a path to start. When you are a mid-round draft pick, You need help to get into that starting job.